I wasn't born with much, but $1 billion dream.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Phoenix Novell, and thank you again for tuning into my Musicians on Gig series. Today's episode is called How to Deal with Temptation and Peer Pressure as a Traveling Musician. Now, this is a little bit, it's about me and how I do it. Many people have different ways, and I think one of the most important things that we need as traveling musicians is a source of strength. And my book, I think it was the Traveling Singer Survival Guide that I have that in, where I talk about the importance of having a support system. The importance of having something, usually someone, I find it, that kind of like, no matter what's going on, no matter what happens, no matter what you're faced with, you check in with them, and they kind of like recalibrate things for you, or help you kind of balance out so that you're not in a heightened state of anxiety or sink yourself into depression about something someone said or something that happened. My source of strength kind of was always my godfather, shout out. And he was always there. You know, he talked to me, he talked me through things whenever I was having issues with other artists, whenever I was dealing with things that really did not make me feel good, or things that I wouldn't have been proud of. Now, I know that this video is called How to Deal with Temptation and Peer Pressure, but I want to also talk about just how to stop yourself from getting to that point where you're in a weakened state. Now, let's just veer over for a second and talk about temptation. I'm talking about multiple things. I'm talking about temptation to overdrink or smoke a lot or have sex a lot or just randomly do things that you know probably wouldn't be in your best interest, building your reputation abroad and performing and doing gigs and trying to be seen as a professional individual. And the first thing, that's why I talk about a source of strength. Because when you have a source of strength, then you're not usually using other substances and stuff like that to numb you, so that you don't think about or deal with the reason why you're possibly weak enough to overindulge in something or to do something. Most people drink and smoke because it makes them feel good or makes them relax or whatever, makes them forget about something. There's something about it that they feel like they want to get out of that current state of mind. This is what I found. This is what people who do drink and smoke and indulge in that kind of stuff have mentioned to me and told me. And a lot of them don't communicate often with people who are positive and care about them on a deep level, for whatever reason. But having a drink or whatever, having a smoking or just enjoying a moment of just relaxation is one thing. But doing it to the point where it can become a habit, or it can become a serious need, or it can become something that you like that destroys what you're trying to build is the problem I'm talking about. I'm not making it seem like you got to be, just this kind of way and you can't move over here and you got to be so stern, because that's not, we're artists. We should be having fun and enjoying our time as we're doing this, as we're providing entertainment for other people. Now, for example, like one of my biggest issues was the fact that I wasn't really the kind of person that liked to indulge in drinking and smoking and partying and hanging out. And this, for me, I don't have a problem socializing, but usually in those kind of venues and environments where you are a musician and performing, people are selling alcohol. They're selling things that to kind of get people loose or whatever. And one of the first things they want to do is sell you some alcohol or buy you a drink, and have you indulge and kind of share in their having a good time. And so it wasn't for me that I didn't want to greet the customers. It was that I felt like I had to put up this wall and stay safe. Sometimes if you do that, you can send the wrong message as well. People think that you got, that you're stuck up or whatever, and that you feel like you're too good for them and you can't come out and say hi. But you have to know what's good for you. So I do admit, I think that going too far either way, trying to please the customer to the point that you lose yourself, and staying so far away that you don't even connect with them and make them feel important, is not the best things to do. You know, you can find the middle ground. So my advice for artists who are trying to maintain a balance and hold on to their integrity and not lose themselves too much in pleasing artists, but also not really enjoy everything that the traveling musician lifestyle has to offer, is to find your sense of comfort. Okay, understand that as a traveling artist, there is going to be an amount of connection that has to happen. You know, you don't owe them anything and they don't owe you anything. And I'm talking about the customers and the people who come and see you, you know, and your job is to perform to the best of your ability. But of course, if you want to ensure that, you know, your livelihood is kept intact and people enjoy you being at their venue and bosses like you because, you know, you're good to their customer and clientele, you got to understand that there is a certain amount of socialization that's expected from you, you know, and it's kind of like looked at as a plus. Now, when it comes to customers who don't respect your boundaries, you know, who insist that you entertain them a certain way or partake in things that you're not necessarily comfortable with, then I always advise you politely and professionally declining. You know, you can have a life outside of your job. You know, you don't have to hang at their table the whole time that you're performing. You're not at all expected to be more than an entertainer and kind and pleasant and a great performing artist, you know. And some artists, they go above and beyond, you know, but sometimes it makes other artists who don't necessarily feel comfortable with that feel like, oh, they're not doing their job or they're not doing enough. And like I said, having a source of strength, somebody to talk to that loves you and cares about you and isn't looking at you for what you can bring them and how you can help them get to where they want to be, and don't have any kind of like empathy for your situation, kind of keeps you feeling good about feeling valued in the face of customers who don't know you, that want to make you feel like you got to do what they want you to do, or boss and managers who try to make you feel like you got to do something you're not comfortable with. Now, that hasn't been my experience for the most part, but I do know some artists who really wanted a gig or really wanted an opportunity and felt like, if I do this, I'll cement my position, or if I do this, you know, the customers will like me more and always come back here. So just make sure your priority is to do what you're being paid to do first, to do what you're being, you know, what landed you the gig first. And anything above that, you need to have a conversation with your manager if you're uncomfortable. You need to have a conversation with the clients if anybody's giving you problems and making you feel like you're not pleasing them, you know, adequately or whatever, beyond your performance ability. That's my advice. You know, connect to your loved ones back home. Make sure you maintain positive relationships with people who invest in you and make you feel like you are valuable and more than just your talent. Because sometimes you will feel alone. You know, sometimes you will be faced with life shit, you know, and you don't want to be out there by yourself if you do happen to be lucky enough to have people to center you and keep you grounded so that you don't do nothing that causes you to lose your job and regret it because you didn't have anybody or a system in place to keep you from taking everything that was thrown at you so personally. All right. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Once again, thank you for tuning in for another Musicians on Gigs episode, and stay tuned for the next.